You were never weak. You say you're stuck. You say you're not ready. You say you're not strong enough. But what if I told you you were never weak? What if the strength you've been searching for has been inside you all along? This isn't just another motivational speech. This is your wake-up call. Your reminder that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop doubting. It's time to start becoming. Because the truth is simple. You were never weak. You were just waiting to start. This is the lie we tell ourselves every day. We look at our failures and call them proof. We look at our fears and call them facts. We look at our hesitation and call it weakness. But here's the truth. You're not weak. You've just been taught to believe you are. From the moment we're born, the world starts shaping us. It tells us what we can and can't do. It tells us to stay safe, to avoid risks, to play small. And over time, we internalize these messages. We start to believe that our limits are real, that our potential is fixed, that strength is something other people have, but not us. But let me ask you this. Who decided that? Who told you that you're not strong enough? Who told you that you can't handle the pressure, the pain, the challenge? Was it a teacher, a parent, a friend, or was it you? The truth is, most of us are not born weak. We're born curious, fearless, and full of potential. But somewhere along the way, we stop believing in ourselves. We let the world's doubts become our own. We let fear of failure paralyze us, and we mistake that paralysis for weakness. But here's the thing. Weakness isn't real. It's not a fact, it's a feeling. And feelings can change. Weakness is just the absence of action. It's the story you tell yourself when you're standing still. But the moment you move, the moment you take even the smallest step forward, that story begins to crumble. Think about it. Have you ever faced something you thought you couldn't handle, only to surprise yourself? Maybe it was a tough conversation, a physical challenge, or a moment of crisis. At first you felt weak, but when you had no choice but to act, you found strength you didn't know you had. That's because strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you discover, and the only way to discover it is to start. So why do we think we're weak? Because it's easier. It's easier to stay in our comfort zone than to face the unknown. It's easier to say I can't than to risk failure. It's easier to believe the lie than to challenge it. But easy doesn't lead to growth. Easy doesn't lead to strength. Easy leads to regret. And here's the harsh truth. Every time you tell yourself you're weak, you're giving yourself permission to stay stuck. You're choosing comfort over courage. You're choosing fear over freedom. And the longer you stay in that mindset, the harder it becomes to break free. But here's the good news. You can break free. You can rewrite the story. You can prove to yourself that you're not weak. You're just waiting to start. And the moment you do, everything changes. Weakness isn't born in a vacuum. It's planted, watered, and nurtured by the world around us. From the moment we take our first steps, society begins to shape how we see ourselves. Think about it. As children, we're fearless. We fall, we get up. We fail, we try again. We don't care who's watching, and we don't care how messy it looks. But then something changes. We start to hear the voices. Be careful. Don't embarrass yourself. What will people think? And slowly those voices become our own. Society loves to reward perfection. It celebrates the winners, the flawless, the ones who make it look easy. But what it doesn't show is the struggle behind the success, the failures, the doubts, the moments of fear. And so we grow up believing that strength is effortless, that if we're not perfect, we're not enough. But here's the truth. The world's obsession with perfection is a lie. No one starts strong. No one starts perfect. Every champion you admire, every leader you respect, every success story you've ever heard, they all began in the same place, uncertain, unprepared, and afraid. The difference? They didn't let fear stop them. Fear is the root of the illusion of weakness. It whispers in your ear, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? And the more you listen, the louder it gets. Fear thrives on inaction. It grows stronger every time you hesitate, every time you choose comfort over courage. But here's the thing about fear. It's a liar. It tells you that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you're not strong enough. But fear doesn't know you. It doesn't see your potential. It doesn't see the strength that's waiting to be unleashed. Fear is just a shadow, and shadows only exist when you stand still. Society reinforces this fear. It tells you to play it safe, to follow the rules, to stay in your lane. It rewards conformity and punishes risk. And so we learn to shrink ourselves. We learn to hide our dreams, to silence our ambitions, to settle for less than we're capable of. But deep down we know the truth. We know that playing small doesn't protect us. It imprisons us. The illusion of weakness is a cage, and the bars of that cage are made of fear, doubt, and the expectations of others. But here's the good news. The cage isn't locked. The key has always been in your hands. All you have to do is take the first step, because the moment you move, the illusion begins to fade. Fear loses its grip. Doubt starts to dissolve, and you realize that the only thing holding you back was the story you were telling yourself. A story that was never true to begin with. What if I told you that you're already stronger than you think? That the strength you admire in others isn't something they were born with, it's something they built, and you have the same tools to build it. The problem isn't that you're weak. The problem is that you've been looking at strength the wrong way. You think strength is loud, visible, undeniable. You think it's the person who stands on the podium, the one who gets the applause, the one who makes it look easy. But real strength, it's quiet, it's invisible, it's built in the moments no one sees. Think about the last time you faced a challenge. Maybe it was something small, a tough conversation, a difficult decision, a moment of doubt. You didn't feel strong in that moment, did you? But you acted anyway. You pushed through. And that's what strength really is. The ability to move forward, even when you don't feel ready. Strength isn't about never feeling fear. It's about not letting fear stop you. It's about showing up, even when you're uncertain. It's about taking the next step, even when the path isn't clear. And here's the truth. You've done this before. You've faced challenges. You've overcome obstacles. You've proven to yourself, time and time again, that you're capable. But why don't you see it? Because we're taught to measure strength by results. We look at the finish line, not the journey. We celebrate the victory, not the struggle. And in doing so, we miss the most important part. The quiet, consistent effort that makes strength possible. You don't need to wait for a big moment to prove your strength. It's already there, in the small decisions you make every day. The decision to get out of bed when you'd rather stay under the covers. The decision to try again after a failure. The decision to keep going even when it feels like nothing is working. That's strength, and it's already inside you. The problem is, you've been ignoring it. You've been so focused on what you haven't done, what you haven't achieved, that you've forgotten to see the strength you've already shown. But here's the thing. The more you acknowledge your strength, the more it grows. So stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're strong. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to feel ready. Look at your life. Look at the challenges you've faced, the battles you've fought, the progress you've made. You're not weak. You've never been weak. You've just been too busy doubting yourself to see the strength that's been there all along. You see, plus only exists in the absence of action. It's not a permanent state. It's not a label that defines you. It's a moment, a pause that lingers until you decide to move. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Not comfortable, not safe, but alive. That feeling doesn't come from standing still. It doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from action, from stepping into the unknown, from doing something that scares you. The illusion of weakness thrives on hesitation. Every time you stop yourself from trying, every time you let fear dictate your choices, you feed that illusion. You give it power, but the moment you act, even if it's a small step, the illusion begins to crack. Because action creates momentum, and momentum is the enemy of fear. Here's the truth. You don't need to feel strong to act. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to move. Because strength isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. And the more you act, stronger you become. Think of it like a muscle. The first time you lift a weight, it feels heavy. Your arms shake, your body resists, but you keep going. You lift it again, and over time, what once felt impossible becomes easy. That's how strength works. It's built through repetition, through effort, through action. But here's the catch. You can't build strength by thinking about it. You can't build strength by planning or dreaming or waiting. You have to do the work. You have to take the first step, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. Because the only way to destroy the illusion of weakness is to prove it wrong. Every time you act, you're sending a message to yourself. You're saying, I can do this. You're saying, I'm stronger than I thought. And with every step forward, that message gets louder, the doubts get quieter, the fear loses its grip. And before you know it, the illusion is gone. So what's stopping you? What's holding you back from taking that first? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Fear of the unknown? Whatever it is, it's not real. It's just a story you've been telling yourself. And the only way to rewrite that story is to act. Because here's the truth. You don't need to be fearless to start. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to move. And once you do, you'll realize that the strength you've been searching for has been inside you all along. Every journey begins with a single step. It's a phrase you've heard 1,000 times, but have you ever stopped to think about what it really means? The first step isn't just the beginning of a journey. It's the moment you decide to leave the illusion of weakness behind. It's the moment you stop waiting for permission, stop doubting your potential, and start proving to yourself that you're capable of more. But let's be honest, the first step is the hardest. It's the step that feels the heaviest, the most uncertain. It's the step where fear is the loudest, where doubt is the strongest. And that's why so many people never take it. They stand at the edge, looking at the path ahead, and convince themselves it's too hard, too risky, too much. But here's the truth. The first step doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to happen. Because the moment you take that step, something incredible happens. You realize that the fear you felt wasn't real. The doubts you had weren't facts. And the weakness you thought defined you was nothing more than a story. Think of the first step as a spark. It's small, almost insignificant. But that spark has the power to ignite a fire. And once that fire starts, it's hard to put out. That's what action does. It creates momentum. It builds confidence. It turns hesitation into progress. But here's the catch. No one can take that first step for you. No one can push you forward. You have to decide. You have to choose to move, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's scary. Because the first step isn't just about where you're going. It's about who you're becoming. When you take that first step, you're not just proving to yourself that you're strong. You're proving to yourself that you're in control, that you're not a victim of your circumstances, that you're not defined by your fear. You're proving that you have the power to change your story. So here's my challenge to you. Take the first step. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter if it's messy or imperfect. Just take it, because the moment you do, you'll realize something incredible. You were never weak. You were just waiting to start. There's a moment in every great story where everything changes. It's not the moment of victory. It's not the moment of recognition. It's the moment the hero decides to begin. Think about it. Every success you've ever admired started with a single decision. The decision to try. The decision to risk failure. The decision to take the first step, even when the outcome wasn't guaranteed. That's the power of starting. It's the moment where potential becomes action, where dreams become plans, where fear begins to lose its grip. But why is starting so powerful? Because starting creates momentum. It's like pushing a heavy boulder. At first it feels impossible. The weight is overwhelming. But the moment you push, even just a little, the boulder begins to move. And once it moves, it becomes easier to keep it rolling. That's what starting does. It breaks the inertia. It turns I can't into I'm doing. Starting also changes how you see yourself. Before you start, you're stuck in a loop of doubt. You tell yourself, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I'll fail. But the moment you take action, something shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's waiting, and you start seeing yourself as someone who's doing. And that shift, it's life-changing. Here's the truth. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know every step of the journey. All you need is the courage to take the first step. Because once you start, the path begins to reveal itself. Opportunities you couldn't see before become clear. Strength you didn't know you had begins to surface, and the doubts that once held you back start to fade. But here's the catch. Starting isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It's full of uncertainty. And that's why so many people avoid it. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect condition. But here's the harsh truth. Perfection doesn't exist. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect, you'll be waiting forever. The power of starting lies in its imperfection. It's not about getting it right the first time. It's about getting it done. It's about learning as you go, growing through the process, and discovering that the journey is just as important as the destination. Because every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to where you want to be. So let me ask you this. What's stopping you from starting? Is it fear, doubt, the belief that you're not ready? Whatever it is, it's not as powerful as you think, because the moment you start, you'll realize something incredible. The power to change your life has been in your hands all along. You've heard it before, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. But let's talk about what happens when you don't start. What happens when you keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep telling yourself, not yet. The cost of not starting isn't just time, it's not just missed opportunities. It's the slow erosion of your confidence, your potential, your belief in yourself. Every day you wait, you're teaching yourself a dangerous lesson. That it's okay to settle. That it's okay to stay stuck. That it's okay to let fear win. Think about it. How many dreams have you put on hold because you were waiting for the right time? How many chances have you let slip away because you were afraid to fail? How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, only to wake up and realize that tomorrow never came? The cost of not starting is regret, and regret is heavier than failure. It's the weight of knowing you could have done more, been more, achieved more, but didn't. It's the voice in the back of your mind that whispers, what if? What if you had tried? What if you had taken the risk? What if you had started, even when it felt impossible? Here's the truth. The pain of starting is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever, and the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. Not because you're incapable, but because you've trained yourself to stand still. You think you're protecting yourself by waiting, but what you're really doing is building a wall between you and your potential. And every day you wait, that wall gets higher, thicker, harder to break through. But here's the good news. That wall isn't permanent. It's not made of stone. It's made of fear, doubt, and hesitation. And the moment you take action, even the smallest step, you start to tear it down. So let me ask you this. What's the cost of not starting? What's the price you're paying for staying in your comfort zone? Is it worth it? Is the safety of standing still worth the life you're leaving unlived? Because here's the truth. The life you want isn't waiting for you, it's waiting on you. And the longer you wait, the more you lose. Not just time, but confidence. Not just opportunities, but belief in yourself. Not just progress, but the chance to become the person you were meant to be. Starting isn't just a decision, it's a declaration. It's the moment you say, I'm done waiting, I'm done doubting, I'm done playing small. In that moment, it's powerful. Because starting creates momentum. Think of it like a snowball. At first it's small, it takes effort to get it rolling, but once it starts moving, it grows. It picks up speed, it becomes unstoppable. That's what starting does. It turns hesitation into action. It turns fear into fuel. It turns I can't into I'm doing it. But here's the catch. Momentum doesn't happen on its own. You have to create it. You have to push the snowball. You have to take the first step. Even when it feels heavy. Even when it feels hard. In the first step, it's not about perfection. It's not about getting it right. It's about getting it done. Because once you start, something incredible happens. The weight you felt before begins to lift. The doubts that held you back begin to fade, and the path that once seemed impossible begins to reveal itself. Momentum is the enemy of fear. It's the antidote to doubt. It's the force that turns small actions into big results. And the best part? It's self-sustaining. The more you move, the easier it becomes to keep moving. The more you act, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the more unstoppable you feel. So let me ask you this. What's one small step you can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, because that step, no matter how small, has the power to change everything. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know every step of the journey. You just need to start. Because starting creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Waiting for someone to tell you, you're ready. But let me ask you this. How much longer are you willing to wait? How many more days, weeks, years will you spend standing still? Because here's the truth. Waiting doesn't lead to readiness. It leads to regret. It leads to a life where you look back and wonder, what if? What if you had started sooner? What if you had taken the risk? What if you had stopped waiting and started becoming? Becoming isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating it. It's about stepping into the version of you who doesn't just dream but does. In that version of you, they're not waiting for permission. They're not waiting for the fear to leave. They're not waiting for the stars to align. They're moving. They're acting. They're becoming. But here's the catch. Becoming isn't easy. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's the process of shedding the old version of you, the one who played small, who doubted, who hesitated, and stepping into the person you were born to be. In that process, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about taking the next step, even when the path isn't clear. It's about trusting that every action you take is bringing you closer to the life you want. Think about it. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, started with someone who was scared, uncertain, and unprepared. But they didn't let that stop them. They didn't wait for the fear to disappear. They didn't wait for the perfect plan. They started, and in starting, they became. Becoming isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking better questions. Questions like, who do I need to become to achieve my goals? What habits, beliefs, and actions do I need to adopt? What am I willing to let go of to make room for growth? Because here's the truth. You can't become the person you're meant to be while holding on to the person you've been. You can't grow without letting go of the excuses, letting go of the doubts, letting go of the belief that you're not enough. Becoming is a choice. It's a decision to stop waiting and start creating. It's the moment you say, I'm done standing still, I'm done playing small, I'm ready to move. In that choice, it's not a one-time thing, it's a daily commitment. A commitment to show up, even when it's hard. A commitment to act, even when it's scary. A commitment to believe in yourself, even when it feels impossible. Because here's the truth. You don't become strong by avoiding challenges. You become strong by facing them. You don't become confident by waiting for it to appear. You become confident by taking action, by proving to yourself that you can. And the more you act, the more you become, the more you become, the more you realize that the strength you've been searching for has been inside you all along. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop telling yourself, I'm not ready, because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And the moment you decide to start, this is it, the moment you've been waiting for, the moment you stop waiting for permission, the moment you stop doubting your strength, the moment you realize you were never weak. Weakness was never the truth. It was the story you told yourself to stay safe. It was the excuse you used to avoid the hard things. It was the mask you wore to hide your potential. But now you see it for what it is, an illusion, a lie, a shadow that disappears the moment you step into the light. Because here's the truth. You've always been strong. You've always been capable. You've always had what it takes. The problem wasn't your strength. The problem was your belief. You didn't believe in yourself. You didn't believe you were enough. You didn't believe you could handle the pressure, the pain, the challenge. But now you know better. Now you know that strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's something you discover. It's something you unleash. And the only way to unleash it is to act, to move, to decide. So here's the question. What are you going to do with this moment? Are you going to let it pass you by? Are you going to let fear win? Are you going to keep telling yourself the same old story? Or are you going to rewrite it? Are you going to take the first step? Are you going to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think? Because here's the truth. The life you want isn't waiting for you. It's waiting on you. It's waiting for you to stop hesitating. It's waiting for you to stop doubting. It's waiting for you to stop playing small. And the moment you decide to move, everything changes. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to start. Because starting creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. And confidence creates transformation. This is your moment to rise, your moment to act, your moment to become the person you were born to be. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop telling yourself, I can't, because you can, you always could, and now you will. The breakthrough you've been searching for isn't out there, it's in here, it's in the decision you make right now. The decision to stop waiting, the decision to start moving, the decision to rewrite your story. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. So here's the truth. You were never weak. You were just waiting to start. And now it's time to begin.